right? We the
Let's
Labor
do it.
Lounge, and we're going to talk about something that I think is happening clear across the world, right? People ain't got no jobs out there, right? But I also think that people don't really want to work, and we're going to see between inflation, between people wanting higher wages, between companies feeling the pinch, we got some things going on. So I'm gonna show this next clip, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Welcome to White Castle. This is Brittany. How may I help you?
This robot named Flippy runs the fry station at a White Castle outside of Chicago. With its mechanical arm and using computer vision technology, Flippy can cook everything from French fries and onion rings to cheese sticks. White Castle said it plans to add 100 Flippies to its kitchens nationwide.
We used to need 2 people to operate that French fry area during peak hours, and now we are able to only have 1 person operating that area.
Would you like to try the mac and cheese bites today? All right, thank you. If the screen's correct, it is 827. Second window, please.
Fast food jobs are demanding, quick moving, and sometimes even dangerous. But not for robots.
When you look at the restaurant industry, it's a little bit late to the party in adopting automation and robotics in particular.
So far, the restaurants that are using them or trying them out say that this automation really only has to do with helping relieve boring tasks from workers' plates, help make their jobs easier, let them engage with the customers more. But there's a lot of reports out there kind of guesstimating how many jobs could be replaced by these robots, by automation.
Up to 82% of restaurant positions could to some extent be replaced by robots. Automation could save U.S. fast food restaurants over $12 billion in annual wages. And restaurants are also struggling to find workers. American restaurants are down more than 560,000 jobs, or about 4.6% of its workforce, from their pre-pandemic levels. About a third of Americans worked in a restaurant as their first job, and half have some restaurant work experience.
Yeah, the economics of this are very, very compelling. If you take minimum wage, just around the $20,000 per year mark, that's the cost of one robot.
Other companies in this space include Picnic, that has a robot that makes pizza, and Autech, whose machines make sushi. So what impact will robots have on the fast food industry and the livelihood of its workers? CNBC got a behind-the-scenes look at restaurant robot maker Miso Robotics to find out.
There you go. The robots replacing the fast food worker. Now, that was very specific. They talked about the fast food worker, but robots are replacing a lot more workers than just fast food. So, what do you think the impacts of technology are on the workforce?
I love it.
Go ahead. You jumped out there. Speak
I
your
love
mind,
it.
man.
It's necessary. The only reason why this is any kind of controversy or why people are upset about it is because we live in a capitalistic society. Again, I'm going to go right back to measuring ourselves by somebody else's measuring stick. These mundane tasks should be done by robots. Professor can tell you what this IBM stands for. And IBM came out that was supposed to take care of 60 to 80% of your office work. You're supposed to have less work now with this business machine, but that's not what happened. We want to do less remedial labor. We want to do other things. And here's what's happening right now. We're on social media, you and I. There's another gentleman. I haven't asked his permission to use his name, but he's a social figure now. His name is Keith Lee. Keith Lee went to visit a small, struggling burger on wheels, his little burger venue on wheels, and said, "Hey guys, this guy makes a great burger, great seafood. I'm gonna donate to him. He's struggling." The guy made $30,000 in 19 hours or less. There's money to be made other ways. Let the robots handle the dishes and the cleaning and the deep frying, and let's get back to interacting with each other, caring about one another, and finding other ways to support each other than just dipping French fries in coffee.
Got you. Pro, it's on you.
Yes, sir. I have mixed feelings about this, right? Because I never feel like anything is always going to be black and white. I think I'm excited like Flo in one aspect, right? Because I think the people that work these jobs, you know, life's routine will go ahead and program you and make you complacent in certain places that you shouldn't be complacent just because what am I going to do? Right? You know, certain situations look hopeless for people. This kind of forces that opportunity out of the window, and it makes people have to go back to the drawing board as to ways to make money. And hopefully it will make the level of intelligence in society a little bit higher for having to garner a new skill that would make you more money for you to go ahead and be able to live now, right? This is an optimistic place. Now, my other area where I'm just like a level of concern, if you take this job away, create another one. Be mindful of the human society, right? Everybody, these places house economies. And sometimes when places shut down, economies get hurt, right? Because they employ a lot of people there. They provide us a bunch of jobs that mean nothing to anybody else, but mean the world to these people that work. If we're going to go ahead and say, I'm going to have a robot go ahead and do this, be smart, right? And I think the brand that was there was White Castle. Be smart, White Castle. Provide jobs in robotics to go ahead and replace the jobs that are being replaced by the robots, right? You're going to need somebody to go ahead and fix the machines. Machines can't fix themselves, right? That logic is just not there yet. Although it's pretty close with this developing technology that they have, Chat GPT. That's a whole nother GPT, I think it is, but that's a whole nother talk. And I didn't forget about Florencio. Yes, I can tell you what IBM stands for, International Business Machines. And so the thought, like Florencio was saying, was very optimistic. It's what we have today, but it's not. It wasn't pushed by them. Everybody else pretty much took their infrastructure and ran with it, you know? So IBM is now known amicably as Lenovo, right? So, you know, there's been a few different changes in that situation, but I think the leader in computer technologies now probably has to be Intel, maybe AMD, you know, those two giants. But that's neither here nor there. Long story short, bring it back full circle. For the jobs that you take away from the employees, please create another one. Show that you care about the people, right? Show that the people are not just a warm body to go ahead and do something, right? Say, yes, I want to go ahead and further my business and make it more efficient, but also say yes to not at the expense of the people here. So for the job that we take away, we're going to go ahead and create another one. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Can I just say nope?
Yeah, that's very optimistic.
Can I say nope?
Yeah.
Can I say nope?
I know what I'm telling you the logic, right?
How do you get rid of 8 people that use the fryers and be like, well, we're gonna now find another job? It's not even.
You said how do you get rid of 8 people that use the fryers
and just create another job for them? You create another job for you. I can tell you this: for every fast food location that has a robot frying French fries and burgers, there's going to be another diner that I go to because Miss Mary just says hi to me in the morning. I need to stop there and say hi to Miss Mary. There are going to be other opportunities. You don't got to create nothing for nobody. It's not their responsibility.
Yeah, but that's a very. I get where you're coming from, right? But I think that the corporate places should employ more care. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm telling you why I'm not happy and what I think they should do. I know that not everybody is gonna do what I say. Nobody gives a damn what I
I'm
say.
saying, how's that even feasible?
It's
How's that
feasible.
not-
It's feasible in a sense. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm like, how's that not just completely imaginative? Like, it's not. I can't think of working a retail spot and then replacing 4 people with a robot, and then saying, "But I'm going to create magically 4 other positions for you guys."
How is that magically? Do the machines not need to be maintained?
That's out of the wheelhouse, though. That's going to be third party.
But see, and that's exactly my thought process, right? Because we're a society like Florencio said, we're a capitalistic society, right? So it's always about the dollar. So nobody ever really cares about anybody else. And I think that sometimes we got to stop caring about the dollar, not all the way through and through. That'd be ridiculous, right? But what I'm saying is sometimes where people are caring about the dollar, they should be caring about their employee, right? And so we get used to these thoughts like, oh, that could never happen. Nothing will ever happen if you never apply any effort to it, right? But if you what do they say? You could do anything if you put your mind to it. But for the businesses, guess what? With us being capitalistic, they're not going to put their mind to it. So I'm saying what should be done, and I understand the reality of the situation that may not happen, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still going to tell you what should be done. And I'll leave
But one thing that I think it takes time. If that's going to happen, it takes time. It's not going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to put this new $30,000 infrastructure into place. Because one thing that article did say is that, okay, well, 2 employees missing is $20,000, which is the exact same cost of the machine.
No, so actually, it's one. It was one. He said one employee was 20,000, and that cost the whole robotics.
Well, let's just use it. Okay, so the one, right? Let's to get accurate, right? It's $20,000. So even if I do create new jobs, I need at least a year to get my return on investment before I create any new jobs. And let's not lose sight that it's still business. I know from the outside looking in, we look at companies and we're like, okay, well, this is a company. They got the money. They can do. But it's still a business. And they're trying to be as profitable as they possibly can. So, I agree. It from a business standpoint, it just doesn't make sense to go ahead and create new jobs that are not necessary because the business is running. Only thing I did was replace 2 with 1. And Walmart, I think, is the closest example I can come to. Their self-checkout is ridiculous at Walmart. The Walmart right up the street, it's like 30 registers and there's 2 people in there.
How much shrink do they go ahead and have in an increase because of that? Because of the laziness of not having somebody there to go ahead and check under your buggy.
They haven't gone out of business.
I like all the BOGOs that are available at Walmart.
Right. Thank you. Okay, let's be clear. I'm not going to say anything.
Like those 2,
but I could go down my timeline and people are like, I always get something free and something.
Listen.
No, and I see these people and they're saying it on social media, and I'm like, Lord,
I get it.
You're not
I get it. And we're talking about a Walmart, right? Now, that little bit at Walmart is a chip in the bucket. It hurts. It hurts, but we're talking about Walmart. I think that would be more impactful at smaller retailers, right?
What about Kroger? What about Publix?
Kroger would probably feel that a lot more. But
you
just mentioned Publix. Let me tell you something. I work next to a Publix, and I shop there frequently because that's where I go to get my lunch or pick something up going home. They had the self-checkout machines like on pallets in front of the store, and I was like, oh man, they're getting self-checkout because I saw where they were doing the work. And then they got them installed within like 24 hours. There were 5 people that day getting training. Like they were training them on how to do the self-checkouts. I haven't seen 3 of them people since they installed them things. So this is what. So here's what I'm saying. Like,
That's terrible.
it sounds good, and maybe when I get off vacation, I go back to work and they're there. But I haven't seen them. This was over a month ago, and I'm in there 3, 4, 5 times a week because that's where I typically go to either get my lunch or pick up something before I go home, whatever the reason I go in there for. But I'm just telling you that self-checkout has turned 2 into 4. Just like that. And there's one cashier. And all she does is sit there with her he or she stands there with their little handheld, and they can monitor everything that's going on, and she responds when he or she responds when they need to respond. So listen, at the end of the day, what I'm getting at is people need to show their worth. Too many times we get people coming to these jobs and they think they just gonna get paid because they show up and punch in. Yo, that's not the case. You gotta do some work. They
tag me in, big man, tag me in.
Listen, they'll come in 15 minutes later and be like, what you want me to do? Like they didn't do nothing wrong. Like, yo, do you realize somebody was waiting to go to break or lunch or whatever's going on? Or, oh, I have allergies, so I can't do this. Or, oh, I got this going on. Maybe I see a lot more of it in Flow. I'm getting ready to tag you in because I'm telling you, the work ethic is different. And then we're going to turn around and complain about the robotics that's taking your job.
Nope.
Listen, I used to work at a Hobby Lobby, right? Next to the Hobby Lobby, they installed. I say installed, right? Hear what I'm saying? They installed. It's like literally the size of a bedroom, a Popeye's chicken. You don't even go to a cashier. You go to a little computer screen. There's 2 of them. You put it in and they bring it to the window. So you're running a Popeye's chicken with 2 people on the inside, and they bring your order to the window after you've put it on the screen. Costco is another one. You don't go to the counter and say, hey, I want a slice of pizza and a smoothie. You go to 2 computers, you put your order in, they say number 45, you walk up, you take your stuff, you go.
You can't even pay cash at Costco. You have to use a card. They are not playing with nobody.
With all of that said, Flow, tag, you're it, take off.
Let me in. This is something that's really happening. Let me in, sir. I literally at my current position had somebody frustrated with my coaching. So part of my job is to help train and up coach individuals. And she's this person. Well, she hears it. She ain't gonna say her name. She was like, "Man, I got this job so I can just chill." And she let it slip out. Chill. I literally got this job to chill because I know I have to go to 3 or 4 months of training where you can't just fire me. And you're here on me trying to say, no, I'm not trying to learn this. Why are you coaching me?
Wow.
This is real life happening. I'm like, man, if I can build a robot tomorrow to replace you, I would. Wow. I can say this now. I worked at Lowe's for a time, and we had an overnight shift, and overnight shift was cake because I did about 3 hours of work in that 8-hour overnight shift. Now during the day shift, I did about 6 hours or 7 hours worth of work in 8 hours. But overnight, I'll work overnight whenever you want. I'm taking a nap. I'm still chatting with people. I'm pretending to move things. I'm gonna move this to the left and then move that same thing to the right and then move it to the left again. Yo. I did it.
Not I did it.
It's getting crazy, man. The reality is the workforce is different.
No remorse for replacing those remedial tags that people literally do not want. Nobody wants to do them. Nobody goes to school and says, I can't wait to grow up and be a fry cook. There are some people who need positions, need jobs. And the service industry ain't going nowhere.
Let me say this, right? Because you and Big Man bring up valid points, right? Completely valid points. I've seen people like this that came to work to just go ahead and slack off. 9 times out of 10, those positions suck. They suck, right? I've never seen anybody going ahead and making a decent amount of money and slack off because they value that position and consider that, hey, man, if I go ahead and I get fired from here, that's a problem. And I can't lose this. This is the best paying job I've ever had, right? I think there's a dynamic in there, and it sucks, man. I wish there was research, market research, that was there for individuals who got paid better and looked at their performance in comparison to those other jobs where they're okay. So basically,
there's a specific company, and the CEO decided that everybody in this company will make at minimum $75,000 a year.
How did the performance turn out, sir?
It went through the roof. People didn't leave.
They were never going nowhere. They were never going nowhere, right?
They were not going to go. Yeah, and the skeptics said, "Oh, that's a terrible idea. This business is going to fall." Please, I don't have my phone with me. Somebody research it. It shouldn't be hard to find. CEO slashes his salary to make sure his employees get at least $75K a year in salary. Yeah. Production goes up. Everybody feels good. They're buying houses. Everybody had babies.
Research shows that when you treat the worker right, they will produce. So much so that anybody that had a phone job and went to go work at home productivity is through the roof, more than they could ever get it through the building, dog. More than they could ever get it through the building. But regardless of that, a company will still call on them that be hybrid, right? So now you're trying to do this kind of, I get where you're coming from, but you're trying to have this reign of control on them, but that's a jab. Because it's like, hey, we did everything we were supposed to do times 3, and you still won't give us the permanent work from home position that we want, right? There's a lot of nuances in this whole thing, but I will say that I do not disagree with you and Big Man when it comes to these come into work type of jobs where it's grunt work and low rewarding. You're going to find a lot of what you guys talk about, but I don't find this when people were working from home and making a decent salary and they were able to live. When you let people be comfortable and they're able to live, they will not necessarily go through a wall for you, but they will be there 100% for you. 100%. If I could live, say, go ahead.
I can say I've got to talk to a couple people who work from home, especially over COVID. I think that's the common thread, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did enjoy it. And this is just anecdotal. They enjoyed working from home. But you want to know the funny part? The people that I've spoken to about this, and this is a small sample.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they enjoyed the most about it? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Not having to wear clothes?
Yes! It's like, yo!
I knew it!
It's like
I won! What did I get, bro?
That's the biggest thing. That's the draw. Oh, I could just wake up, wash my face, brush my. Matter of fact, G, when we interviewed G, he said the same thing. I just throw on a t-shirt, wash my face, brush my teeth, log onto the computer and go at it. So it's like, if that's the biggest draw, just get rid of the dress code and let people come to the office.
No, that's a different situation. That's very different.
No.
I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Check
everybody,
me out.
If you have a problem with Big Man, just go ahead and email him at Labor Lounge, the Labor Lounge Podcast at gmail.com. Once again,
I feel everybody need to go to work.
Attention,
but
Big
check
Man.
this out. Check this out. The fact of the matter is, people need to put the effort into the jobs that they have. Technology is here. It's going to continue to advance. And if you do not protect what you do, it can be replaced. And that's what it boils down to.
Even if you're protected, it could be replaced.
Yeah, even if you're protected, but you got to make yourself valuable. And, I watched a show from a channel. It's called Anton Daniels. He got a show called $1 Million something. I can't remember the whole thing, but it's Anton Daniels, right?
Mhm.
And he was saying how he almost quit his corporate job the other day because they told him he had to come back to the office. He's like, I'm never going back to the office. I was like, yo, when you get to that point and you don't have to go and you make yourself that valuable where you don't have to go, it's impressive. But at the end of the day, not everybody can do what he said he did, right? I could see working from home being it's enjoyable. I didn't have that experience, so I get up, I go to work, I do what I do. So
Can I tell you the two number one reasons that people work that like to work from home?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we're gonna move on. Go ahead.
It's not even about being enjoyable. One, it's the minus of the commute. All of the extra sleep that I could go ahead and get and not be in traffic. Yo, people don't understand. Traffic is toxic. Traffic is stress. It's bad for your health. I'm trying to tell you this. I'm just being honest with you. I know it sounds funny, but the road rage that people go through, the anxiety, of being late. Oh my God. Everybody was on time for work from home, right? And you know what else is number two? The productivity. It's the being able to multitask. Guess what? On my lunchtime, I can get errands done that I couldn't get done before because I'm at home and I'm right next to the daycare center. I can go home and go pick up the kids and go bring them back over here and put something in the air fryer and be back before my lunch break is off. It's different. I can multitask. I could study for school while I'm at work and not miss a beat. These are the number two reasons why working from home is better. Period. I'll leave it at that, sir.
Shout out to the work from home people. Flo, you want to close that up or you good?
No, I'm saying that there's a great opportunity for us to learn when we start using automations. And I like the idea of bringing in more automation. I go to, we're naming names, so I'll just keep saying corporate names, but I go to Chick-fil-A because the service is great and that personal that personal touch that we get from people. And there'll always be room for that service, for that.
They get paid. They got backpacks with fans in them, and they come over the side. They're a whole different class of worker. They are not fast food. They're just a restaurant that works fast.
The pay is okay. I don't bash them. Their medical coverage could do some fixing,
taken care of.
But nah. Anyway. The service industry isn't going nowhere. Let the automation come in. Let it take care of the grunt work that we don't want to do. And let's get back to those things that I read somewhere. There's no law against being kind, being loving, being personable. And there'll always be an open market for that stuff. I don't want to dip fries in grease. Let the robot do it.
Yep. Just understand if somebody don't want to do it, the robot will do it. And you just get promoted to customer. So
iRobot people, all of y'all iRobots.
All right. So check this out, man. Great conversation thus far. We're gonna go ahead and transition. So I'm gonna play one video now where it shows one incident, but we have an increase in just violence, gun violence, SA violence. There was a video I was debating on doing tonight that I decided not to.
SA violence.
SA, we can't say it. I can't say it.
Yeah, I can't. I can't say it on social media.
It's improper interaction between.
Yeah, you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Don't force yourself on people. Yeah. So it's I didn't decide to show this video because I just didn't want to go that route, but. Let's just say somebody got some street justice based off of that because he was one of them people, and the community decided to go ahead. And the man,
I know this video. I think I like this video.
The man said, "I think we kicked his lip off." That's what he said.
Oh
So I was like, oh my God.
Can't see a city.
So, but you know, we just got an increase of craziness going on, right? And myself being in retail, one of the scariest things I could really think of is somebody coming in and it's an active shooter situation, right? Because at the GM in this situation, not only am I thinking about the customers, I'm thinking about my team first and foremost, right? How do I prepare them for this situation? And, you know, my heart goes out because I've heard about many situations like this. And I think companies try to prepare us as much as they possibly can for situations like this. But the reality of it is, when it's actually happening, you got to perform. And not everybody can perform. So I'm going to show this next video and we're going to talk about it. Ready?